Story 1. The body will fail faster than I like. Money is not easily acquired, power is fleeting, and there is no real support outside of yourself. If I do not do it myself, no one is coming to save me, help me, or do it for me. Story 2. That I was way hotter than I thought I was and should have taken more chances. And that if you think about calling someone, you should. You never know when they will be gone. Story 3. My knees aren't, in fact, bulletproof. You've got another 25 to 30 years of working or more. No one knows what they are doing. You don't have to put up with people's nonsense. Story 4. Generally, nobody genuinely cares about you more than they do themselves, so you will never be a priority to anyone. You have to be your first and last line of defense. Nobody is coming to save you, so you need to build the competence to be your own hero. Anyone can leave you at any time for any reason, whether it be friendship or romance. So, don't take what you have for granted. The same applies to you. If something doesn't serve you or you clearly outgrow a relationship, cut your losses, grieve, and move on. Happiness is a system. Instead of deferring your happiness into the future, focus on being in the present and optimizing the present moment. Be selective about who you allow in your life. Story 5. As someone who is both laid back and has people-pleasing tendencies, you might have to be the asshole sometimes, even if you don't want to be. Otherwise, people are going to walk all over you. Story 6. The thing you think will make you happy, a relationship, losing weight, etc., might give that for a brief period. But if you enjoy the process, you're much better off. Story 7. 1. You are responsible for your own survival. You are accountable for your own growth. You are the one who determines whom you trust. You will grow in ways you could not have predicted. You must give back to your community. Story 8. Now I'm old enough to afford some things I want. I don't have the time to enjoy them. That bit of a belly is getting bigger by the day. More things hurt or ache by the day. Stress doesn't go away. The things you stress about just change. I won't be rich or go on lots of holidays. I've got my entire life again before I can retire. You could disappear and it would affect very few people. Friends are ones from school age, university, or work colleagues and their corresponding partners. A good night is one where you have tea before 8 p.m. and don't have jobs to do afterward, preferably in your comfy trousers and sitting on the couch. Story 9. If you have any issues, mental, physical, spiritual, whatever, and you've been putting them off for another time, take care of it now. I floated between a bunch of jobs in my early 20s. I finally figured out it was mostly due to my long-diagnosed but untreated attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I started seeing a therapist and getting on medication. Life is a lot better and easier now. Story 10. Your perception as a good boyfriend or husband will depend on how much you do for the woman you are with and how little you expect or require in return. When you are younger, much of life is about displaying potential. As you get older, you have to take steps to convert that potential into accomplishments, or else people will not take you or your opinion seriously. After about 25, you do not get to blame your upbringing for things anymore. Being too nice to women is as much of a turnoff as being overly aggressive. Story 11. You don't have to tolerate what you think you deserve just because of love or friendship. The sunk cost fallacy. Don't keep investing in people just for the sake of investing just because you have invested so much already. Learn to walk away and let things be. Forgive yourself and build better boundaries for yourself first. Story 12. The lack of any assistance program when definitely needed. Sorry, you do not qualify. Sorry, you are going to be homeless. And no, the shelters are only for women and children. Story 13. Nobody cares about you. Sure, plenty of people will say they do, but when it comes down to it, you find that there are very few, if any, people that you can rely on. I recently provided daily emotional support for someone I thought was a friend. Months in, I had one thing I felt terrible about, and she disappeared when I told her. Straight up disappeared for weeks. I don't expect anything in return for being a friend, but it was a reminder that I mean nothing to her and most other people in my life. You just have to deal with things by yourself. Story 14. 1. People slowly begin to disappear out of your life, and it becomes more and more difficult to fill the holes they leave behind. 2. Society values more of what you have to offer than you value yourself. 3. You will statistically likely lose a male friend or family member to overdose, addiction, or suicide at this stage in your life. 4. You likely will not own your own home or have a family by this stage in your life. This is difficult to type out. Story 15. You are dependent on your own happiness. You can't control the world and what happens. This isn't saying let everything happen to you. It's more an argument to be fluid. Happiness comes with going with the flow and appreciating the little moments, whether it's living in the moment or at a time of solitude and reflection. Story 16. In my mid-30s, I was still invincible. Once I hit 38, I had to reevaluate my life and purposely slow down. Mentally, I could do it all, but I had to pace myself physically. I no longer live my life believing push through and you will be glad it's done. I stop when I'm tired now because it compounds, leading to multiple days of feeling blah. I thought being in good shape would help, but it's more about tendon and joint soreness. Story 17. If you do not take care of your body, it will deteriorate. If you do not take care of your social circles, they will deteriorate. They may do so anyway as people get older. No matter the highs and seeming invincibility of any relationship, that person may be gone in a day without warning. Could be death, it could be a breakup. But treat your relationship as if every day is your last with them. You are alone. No one is coming to save you, and even the people who care cannot help you beyond a certain extent. Everyone has their own lives to live, so learn to be comfortable and happy, as one can be, being completely alone. Invest as soon as possible. Wealth comes from passive income, not your 9 to 5. Story 18. That I am like fine wine and have only gotten more desirable with age. Also, by more desirable, I mean desirable. I finally started getting noticed by women in my 30s. It's awesome. Story 19. That people think about you a lot less than you think they do. Someone didn't call you? Yeah, they're probably stuck with their own stuff to deal with. When was the last time you reached out to someone? Your parents aren't immortal or invulnerable. This was a big deal for me, realizing they too get older and weaker. Of course, I knew it, but actually coming to terms with it was something different. There is no plan for you other than your own. You need to put yourself in the way of opportunities. Be aware of your own opinions and your stance on different subjects. Not everyone will think alike. Be aware of whose opinion you value and whose you don't. Be selective in this. I truly care about like 3 people's opinions. Then there are those that it's be nice if they match mine, but I'll live if they don't. Then there are the multitudes where I don't give 2 shits and a popsicle if we don't see eye to eye. Get comfy with this, for your peace of mind. Story 20. Move on from jobs and relationships that do not honor your worth. Also, often the old people will not retire fast enough for you to move up, and there is a line. Start a retirement plan while it still sounds like a far-off need. Sprint now and pace yourself after 35. Story 21. Some of your closest family or friends will secretly compete with you, and you'll know who based on their reaction to you succeeding or doing better than them. Estimated time of arrival. Also, just because someone you love has a problem with a boundary you set, doesn't mean you have to do anything different about it. Story 22. No one has any idea what they are doing. There's no group of people pulling all the strings, or even with any idea where all this is going. People are generally as clueless as they appear, and the more people try to seem like they have their act together, the more issues are hidden away in their closet. We're all just hairless apes with brains evolved for living in caves, trying to navigate a concrete and metal world we built around ourselves. Story 23. The harsh truth is that if you are in your 30s and single and looking, you are going to find many women who have children already. And that is fine, but it is a scary proposition for a lot of us because we could get attached to the children. It is a financial and emotional burden at times. The second harsh truth is if you are living in today's world and in your 30s and just getting your career started, it is going to be very difficult to get ahead in this world. Everything is so much more expensive than it was when I was younger. I am so thankful my parents gave me a little bit of a head start. I am going to add something positive to this thread, even though you want a harsh truth. If you are in your 30s, single, and have a job, you are immediately 2 points higher than your traditional average looks. Story 24. Friends disappear, you're not getting younger, and you don't have the same career choices or options as a 16, 17, or 18-year-old, and you have a long work life ahead of you. Story 25. Most people do not care about you, not even your wife or family. If you are having a hard time, they usually bail. Also, if things go well, they suddenly love you again. Story 26. The rest of the world only pretended to care about me with the expectation that I would marry and have children. And since I decided not to have children and allowed my marriage to end, I wasn't going to matter to pretty much anyone. Story 27. Learn not to lift with your back. I spent 2 years recovering from a herniated disc, spending 23 hours a day in bed because it is the only place where it doesn't hurt. Eating 150 painkillers a week, adult diapers and crutches were zero fun. Story 28. You are the culmination of everything you do. What's on the inside only matters to you. The rest of the world will judge you based on what value you provide or demonstrate consistently. Story 29. My worth is measured by my income and very little else. If I cannot provide an income, what am I? Luckily, I left that relationship and am now happily married and valued for more than money. Story 31. Even flowers die when you water them too much. Know when to stop investing in people, things, and situations. Sometimes our life lessons are other people's trauma. Takers always recognize givers. Risk is fun when you are young. Stability is fun when you are older. You will question everything about yourself when you are wounded. Story 31. One night of partying takes 3 of normal sleep to recover. Joint pain after 30 is real, especially if you sit a lot. There is no such thing as friends, just people you can count on and the rest. Story 32. The majority of us ended up alone and realize they will be until we die. Getting up from kneeling and sitting will suddenly feel hard as if it came overnight. Story 33. I am 27 and I feel like I have learned most of these things in my early 20s, probably from the horrible life choices I made from 17 to 24. I am also shocked at how fast my youthful energy and invincibility is fading. Story 34. You are responsible for yourself. Personal growth, finances, happiness, etc. There's a solution to your problem, but many would rather ignore it and play the victim. Story 35. The economic circumstances that allowed my father's generation to buy a house and raise a family on a single income no longer exist. Story 36. Even if you don't have or want kids like me, you do develop a sense of parental responsibility to society, particularly the vulnerable. In your 30s, you're still in touch with culture enough. You're still fit and sharp enough, yet you're old enough to have accrued wealth and knowledge. It's the perfect point of social responsibility. Story 37. I used to think, forget that. How can I be happy? I spend most of my time at work. My boss is terrible, I am underpaid, and I have other problems. Very recently, I realized all of those things happen anyway. Are you going to be upset and in a bad mood all the time, or are you going to be happy? Be happy is not advice that you take or leave. It is something you do or do not do, similar to tying your shoes. It works either way, so which one are you going to choose? I am new at this and upset most of the time. I am slowly getting better. Story 38. Only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. A man is only loved under the condition that he provides something. You want love? First, you must do stuff for someone. It's the way it has always been. Story 39. I'm 68 and am really saddened by all this talk of being able to trust no one but yourself. The greatest gift this life has to offer is a strong romantic, sexual, friendship, and spiritual relationship with one woman who you become incredibly united with. When that happens, you can absolutely count on her to be there for you. I've had 2 20-plus year marriages and am in year 22 with my 17-year younger forever soulmate. We've achieved such a level of oneness that life with her is pure bliss, and she is my refuge from all the craziness in the world today. This was not easy getting here, but the work has been well worth it. Story 40. Stretch or be in pain. If you do get joint pain, get to a good physiotherapist, and they should help you with stretches to fix issues. Pillows are important. You're going to have to start coming to terms with grandparents dying, if they haven't already. You'll learn of opportunities you missed due to your age and look back to realize if you had known it was possible, you would have done it, but either the option is gone or has become a lot harder. Story 41. There will never be the perfect time, so start going to the gym, eat better, and learn that thing you've always wanted to try. Everything is replaceable, including yourself in regards to your job or relationships, except time. Use what you have very wisely. Story 42. There is only hell, and this is it. No matter how hard you try, nothing matters. There is only pain, torment, and misery. And every month will be worse than the one before it. Every month. Every month. Always worse. Story 43. You don't need to make a lot of money to be happy. You want a job that allows you to pursue your hobbies both financially and with enough time and energy to do so. Also, here is a harsh truth. Don't have kids if you don't make upper middle class money. At most, have one. You can't adequately help your kids without compromising your own financial well-being if you're making less than $70,000 in today's economy, though the number varies based on location.